listening to Crystal Ball, a go-to on Breaking Points. I like a lot. I heard a phrase, something like, quote, "The people are led to believe these lies by their leaders," end quote. You might recognize this. I don't know. This may be how it goes. I don't know. The knowledge, the accepted wisdom seems to be this is the way of the world, or more clearly, liars are to blame for lying. The lied to are innocent. That throughout the years of my life, the powerful have incrementally taken us in. That, for instance, AI is just the latest iteration of the higher-ups pulling the wool over the eyes of us sheep. This might be true. However, I suggest an alternative, and I no more claim it to be true than Crystal's story to be untrue. My interpretation of discourse among us is that there is no sharp divide between the manipulator and the manipulated. There is no serf class who just doesn't understand anything, that there really is very little lying going on. What there is a lot of need to believe, perhaps the vital part of lying, the need to believe. But on any given day, anyone in any walk of life might think critically. And the idea there is a class of us, a small group capable because of education, usually to see more clearly than the rest, is crapola, drivel, tosh, as we see every day. Highly educated billionaires, as free, we think, as can be, think and say the stupidest of things. Don't get me started. Evidence, people on the left believe their leftiness is evidence of their being better than the people on the right. The people on the right, as I observe them, are roughly the same, but they root their betterness in their ideology and or religious belief, rather like the left if you dig deep enough. So who's to choose? I use these words cautiously because I don't know what they mean anymore, or what I had a version of them and I don't believe it anymore. I do know by my definition that that which is Democrat big D is not left. The last election was the last straw that broke that donkey's back. The people around me are basically conservative. They believe in the Bible and or the Constitution, Western civilization, American democracy, meritocracy. I think these are all crapola. All are conservative. They cleave to the ideas of their elders. The best and the brightest is an idea as conservative as Plato. I think that people who would proscribe gay or trans people are on the other side, not because I have a liberal ideology so much as because gay and trans people are people, and as it happens, they have contributed to the culture I enjoy disproportionately. And, addendum, sex is not about procreation. But mostly I don't feel threatened by those people. I heard some news today, and everyone was talking about our enemies. Our enemies. Who are these enemies? The talk is so repetitive. I did think, what would you do if you had not these enemies? Didn't believe you had any. I think you just float away. I think we each imprison ourselves in larger and smaller groupthink because it is easier, and we have institutionalized ourselves to facilitate this collective dumbing down. We think it makes us free, where it only makes us secure, and they are not the same things. Dogmas do adhere to all lives. Challenging these dogmas relentlessly and for life will set you some kind of free. To imagine, for instance, that the success of our culture, financially and influentially, is much more than vain illusion, confines any mind for life. European colonialism, for a massive instance, remains unassailable, called variously the age of discovery, adventure, a spreading of the gospel, etc. Lots of long books, songs and poems and stage musicals celebrate this version of what happened. I am not today denying this story because it puts fluff on the cake to make us think it wasn't genocide. I am denying that it is and was worth it, even for the conquerors. As one quietly observes the mass of humanity in New York City, which would be massively different to the mass in Cairo or Shanghai, but New York, where my ethnicity triumphed, walking down the street, I'm not seeing engagement or laughter where one might have thought to look. We have different versions of genius as the day is long, but though genius might rarely confer wealth on genius, wealth does not confer genius on the evidence ever. Our successes are not wrought of originality, or more importantly, providing what a fading and a dying civilization desperately needs to provide. It would be prudent, as time is short, to look elsewhere for what we need than endlessly thinking what and who don't help. Crystal's story, completely unoriginal, as stale as Plato, is that the gifted rule by persuasion, and if the gifted are not good, Trump will win. My story is that Trump is a manifestation of the country that elected him, like Mamdani is of New York. My story allows me to think Mamdani will make his plans work because he is what his city has manifest. He is the city, the same city that made Eric Adams, in the same state that made Andrew Cuomo. New York has changed. The people Crystal has decided must be led by Mamdani to Mamdani are not capable of the change, nor originality that would make it work. They are so stupid and self-absorbed they could not possibly realize the potential of collectivized life, for instance, too blind to realize that it is our reality as human animals, and the neoliberal individualistic fantasy is the aberration we sell above all. The better shall rule. Again, Plato requires a belief in betterness. How does he define the enlightened prince? The same way Crystal does, as necessary. Imagining Alexander's army was successful because it was well and bravely led by Alexander was a fiction even he didn't believe. Swooning at the boy's every word did not defeat Darius. Many a fellow doing his job well did. Darius, in that sense, was the greater leader. Trump reflects enough of America to get elected, or the third possibility, Kamala represented so little beyond the royal we, I am talking, that her opponent was an apple for the eye. Mamdani won his place because he is the anti-Kamala, possibly the anti-Trump, except Crystal's story only works for those who lose. If only our superior people had told the lumpen the truth, and the lumpen had understood, end quote. They couldn't and can't because they believe, like Crystal, that they are a breed apart. Yeah, and I don't know why I don't function with these assumptions. I'm an actor. I love acting. I love the study. I love the work. I love the relationships. I love the endeavor. I love the risk. And it works over and over and over for me. I don't think I'm a better actor. I don't understand where that comes from. Did I ever understand where that came from? No, I didn't. Honestly, I haven't changed. It was the same thing from the get-go. I don't know what I replace it with. There's obviously some huge void if I don't believe that. Somebody said to me one time, he said, "Aren't you competitive?" And I said, I thought a moment and I said, no, I'm not. Because it's not a competition. It's a quest that one undertakes oneself. And it is life-giving, life-enhancing. It's fascinating. And there's really not much more to say about it. And I would say that I feel pity for people who don't have that in their lives. And I think that many more people do have that in their lives than we might imagine. We snobs, we people who believe this is about class and education and all that sort of stuff. Pritzker stuff. You know, that great story that he had about if you don't, we're all basically racist, bigot, misogynists, and what we need is education to elevate us out of that. And every liberal in the room clapped. And I'm going, no, that's bullshit. We are the opposite. It's our doctrines that make us all those other things. So, that's a faith in the real human nature, not in how it's created by culture, religion, or education. Thank you.